Eddie Hearn, another week, another signing. How does it feel to have Ricky Burns, world champion, on your books?
Yeah, great. There's signings, and to sign a world champion of Ricky's quality is, I'm buzzing. We can't wait to get started. May the 11th up in Scotland. A massive night up there, and exciting times ahead.
It's been a monumental couple of weeks, really, in terms of British boxing and the promoter and the landscape around the promoters. Do you see this as a big shift now that you've made a couple of signings from a rival promoter, and do you see that as maybe a political and a big shift in the sport?
Yeah, everyone keeps asking me that same question about turf war and all this. I just get on with my job. If a fighter comes to me and wants to sign with me, and they confirm to me that they're out of contract and they're of a quality that I believe to be, what I want to be a part of, like Ricky, then I'm going to jump all over it. It doesn't matter if they come from Frank Warren, from Golden Boy, from Hattons. That's just the way it is at the moment. The last few seem to have come from Frank Warren. So I don't take much notice of that. We just do our job for the fighters and make sure we deliver what we promise.
You've built up Kell Brook in Sheffield, and you've got him to sell out arenas there. Are you hoping to do the same with Ricky up in Scotland and really build him into a big name up in Scotland? Yeah,
he's already a huge name in Scotland. We did that with Kell Brook while he was in the process of fighting for a world title. Ricky Burns is already a world champion, so the job's not going to be too difficult at all. But in the meantime, what we've got to really do is make sure that he fights consistently in Scotland, and really that's the key. May the 11th, then again in September, hopefully again in December. 3 fights probably in 7 months. That would be beautiful to happen, and get that momentum for a big fight. People talk about Broner, of course that would be a huge fight for the future. Ricky needs that momentum, and he needs a clear mind to go into a fight like that. And just looking forward to get him out as many times as possible.
We saw with George Groves, you had a quick turnaround for the opponent on Saturday, and you had, 7 days to find an opponent. You got a bit more time with Ricky to find an opponent. So are we looking at a sort of fringe world-class opponent, or a sort of a step below that?
Yeah, he would definitely be better than the guy who George Groves fought on Saturday. But, he'll be a top 10 ranked fighter. I want to bring over a name that people go, oh, that's a good fight. I don't want, I'm a little bit too close perhaps to the forums and to Twitter that I listen to these hardcore boxing fans, probably a little bit too much, but I do listen, and I don't want that kind of response. I want people to be excited about the night and excited about the fight. So, I think it needs to be a credible opponent, and we'll work with Billy and Alex and Ricky to make sure we get that.
Was the May date already scheduled for something with Sky, or was that a new date you brought in now that you've got Ricky on board?
It was a date that we'd already penciled for a potential fight actually with Carl Frampton, but he's not going to be ready till sort of end of June or middle of June. So May the 11th was available, and we just jumped all over it.
So when you talk about Ricky fighting regularly in Scotland, is that you reshuffling where your cards were going to be, or had you not planned that far ahead?
Yeah, not necessarily. I generally plan sort of 3 or 4 months ahead, so I know where we're going now up until the end of June, and then sort of July is a little bit uncertain. You don't do many in July anyway, and then August is off, and then September I don't really know yet. I know when I think fighters will be ready to fight, but things can change quite quickly. Some can get opportunities in America, some can get injured, so that's really the plan. But certainly 3 or 4 months in advance, I know he's fighting on May the 11th and again in the first week of September. So.
You said that you're going to have another announcement on Wednesday. Is that it then? Is that a closed shop now for the rest of the season, or are you still looking at maybe a couple more signings?
We'll make an announcement on Wednesday, and then maybe 1 or 2 more. But at some point we're going to need some more dates from Sky. I've already had that conversation, and I think they're pleased with the way things are going. But we just keep doing our job, and I'm not going to take a fighter on that I can't deliver my promises to. So at the moment, probably 1 or 2 more, and then we'll just see where the land lies.
Heavyweight?
Maybe. I know you're talking about Anthony Joshua.
I was talking about Chisora actually. I thought maybe, because I just thought you need a heavyweight. You haven't got a heavyweight in the stable.
It's got to be the right heavyweight. I like Chisora. I think he's a character. I think Chisora against Audley Harrison's a good fight. I just think it's an interesting fight. You've got Price, who things can change so quickly. David Price is top of the tree, and now it's down here, and people ask if we're signing David Price. We've not have any communication with him. Anthony Joshua, we've chatted. He's probably classed as a friend of mine, but the money's got to be right for everyone, not just for him, but for us as well. I'd like a heavyweight, but it's got to be the right one.